everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
So then they move on and they try to reassert this idea that Charlie and I were not friends. And this is always my favorite one because Andrew is so accidentally stupid that he doesn't realize that he debunks himself in just like one sweeping statement. He's going to try to make fun, and then he's going to November of and that they ship for both of us.
It was probably like 5 or 6 days after.
As that seemed like it was the turning point.
Evidence at preliminary hearing, okay?
Wanted to end the debates don't age.
A second. Where is the actual evidence? I got hundreds of DMs, for instance, from people who didn't know that the Steakhouse receipt was lunatic.
Wanted to end the conversation. He did. You have a bad moment, or at a consistent temperature, and tell people to open it up.
And that as the commentariat kind of comes in, that has an IQ above room temperature, and
the internet kind of a little bit forgot about it, was when Ben Shapiro did BBC, and he got
the Baron Colemans of the world. And aside to that, too, you even have Main Street coverage, and a lot of that now moving
aside at all. And I asked her, I said, if they had exculpatory evidence, whether it's the parents actually do, they absolutely would have presented that evidence at preliminary hearing, okay? Aside at all. And I asked Andrea Burkhart, she's going to join us on the show tomorrow. She is.
All right, so now let's talk about this Steakhouse comment. We're going to get into a whole little thing. I had to pinpoint it.
Do you have the Steakhouse receipts? My question.
I have said several times that I have never said I have the receipt for the Steakhouse. I have said the person who's working on that story is going to be forthcoming with the receipt, and that was what I was responding to. And he then dropped the receipt. He redacted elements of it, and I said, "Stay tuned. He's the one working on that story."
Okay, so you haven't actually confirmed that Robinson was at that Steakhouse.
All I did, as I said earlier in this conversation, was I spoke to the owner when I broke that story. I think it was back in January. I spoke to the owner, understood what had happened, and that there was a receipt. That's it. That's the extent of what I shared is what happened.
Okay, so to be clear, there's no receipt.
I just said the opposite. I said there is a receipt.
Well, you don't have a copy of the receipt.
The receipt was published online.
Yeah, right, with blurred out.
The person working on this story that blurred that out is what I was referring to when I said stay tuned and keep following his stuff, because he went to go do what I hadn't done, which was he interviewed the actual server.
So there's no evidence that Tyler was at that Steakhouse?
I would say the receipt with his debit card number, it would be some hard evidence if that
I agree with that.
Yeah, so that's it. But you're questioning me.
But is there, as of right now...
He paid, if you're asking me, did he pay with a credit or debit card? The answer is yes.
No. Is there proof that that was actually his debit card that he paid with?
I think you should follow the person that is behind that story.
Well, the reason I'm asking you is because you always include it in your timeline that he traveled to the Steakhouse.
Yeah, we've been building a timeline with things that we feel are
But is there any actual
Utah 1102
evidence?
approved. I think speaking to the owner, knowing that there's a receipt, seeing the receipt is good enough to put on our timeline.
But the receipt itself, the question I always had about it is, couldn't you just call the merchant? Like if I've ever had a merchant account, I just call the merchant account processor and say, what's the name on this?
Yeah, I would stay tuned. I feel that having spoken to the owner, that the evidence is compelling enough to put onto my personal timeline of what took place on that day. That's where it's going to stay. And if it gets debunked, I'm happy to take it off. If that's what you mean, that's how an investigation works. Like I said, I did more than enough. It would definitely pass the test by the Utah 1102 rule, for sure, for certain.
To be submitted as hearsay.
Beyond that, because they didn't even have receipts. They were like, Bob told me this.
But the question is, the receipt itself, it has not been verified to have been Tyler Robinson's.
I just want to say you're holding me to a higher standard than you are.
I'm not even holding you. I'm just asking specifically.
Yeah, I've been very forthcoming. I've told exactly what happened. I spoke to the owner. I got the tip, and
so should that be added in an official timeline that you give?
It's in my timeline. It's my show, and we can add and subtract what we want, and we do. If
you
we
can
get
do
something
what you
wrong,
want, sure. But I'm asking,
to make sure.
Should you include a thing that you know hasn't actually been verified to be Tyler Robinson's?
Yes, you should. If we're trying to build a timeline, you should. Yeah.
You don't think that falls under...
And then you should remove it if someone somehow debunks it. But I think that there is very strong evidence that is where he was, and that
What's the strong evidence? Just the two people who said that they saw him?
You know, I'm actually all good with being... I feel like I've sufficiently answered your question about how I got the information, what happened next, with the next stage of this investigation being somebody accessing knowing what his debit card was and confirming it, yes. And I do believe that that will happen. If it does not happen and it gets debunked, I'll remove it from my personal timeline that I share on my show.
That officer, the first officer that was up on the roof, do you remember his name?
Officer Bagley.
Yeah, what was his first name?
Christopher.
Oh, what?
When Christopher
What is this dude doing? Y'all really listening to this cat? He went from the steakhouse. Oh, do you remember the first officer? Like, what's the switch? What's the switch for? You lost that, but y'all swear up and down this dude won. This dude getting ate up.
got up on the roof, you talk a lot about how his camera died.
Well, he talked a lot about that during the
About
preliminary
his camera
hearing.
died.
Yeah.
Do you think that he planted that screwdriver up there?
No.
No. Who do you think planted it?
If we're just going on am I allowed to have an opinion?
Of course.
At this stage, I would say that I don't buy his assertion on the stand that he didn't check to see if anybody went onto the rooftop before he got up there. I do think that it's possible, it's at least plausible that the screwdriver was planted. I don't believe him. What I can say strongly is that his cam died at just the right time. His body cam died at just the right time. I think that, as you were just grilling me about whether or not I had got the merchant receipt for a debit card, that kind of makes it difficult that we just have to sort of trust that a screwdriver was found and we don't have any should be evidence of a police body cam. But
so a body cam dies in the midst of an investigation of an assassination, a murder, and now we're just supposed to believe everything a police says. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. Anyway, let's get to this steakhouse receipt. This is good.
Is apolitical as it comes. Like, she is not like on a side at all. And I asked her, I said, if they had exculpatory evidence, whether it's the parents that actually, think he's innocent, or they have some steakhouse receipt, would they not present that at the preliminary hearing? And she was like, absolutely they would.
No, duh.
No lawyer, if they have exculpatory evidence that proves the timeline's wrong, that proves the parents don't actually think it, would not use that evidence, because those lawyers are then basically binding their client over for 3 years in prison for something that he didn't actually do. They absolutely would have presented that evidence at preliminary hearing, okay?
I still do not understand why they keep trying to imagine that this Penguin Steakhouse Cowboy Steakhouse thing is fake and is a fraud. It's just not. I don't know how many times I can say this. I guess I'm going to basically say to them what I said to Andrew face to face is, you can keep saying this. You're going to eventually embarrass yourself. As I said, they got in touch with the FBI. The FBI is aware of this. The FBI took a statement from the owner. I spoke to who is doing the fraud, I guess, is the question. Who's doing the fraud? Is the fraud in the room with us right now, guys? Like, I know that this completely blows up everything, and that's why you guys are trying to convince the public that this didn't happen. But I spoke to the owner. The server has given an interview. There is a receipt. If you're trying to wonder why they didn't present this exculpatory evidence, maybe you should try paying attention to the hearings, because back during the one in April, they kept saying that they did not get granted discovery, that they had so many things that they needed to go through, and that they wanted to take that time to. The reason why they were asking for an extension on that preliminary hearing was because they had so many things to go through and they were not receiving their discovery requests, which could have potentially included exculpatory evidence. This was found, this Panguitch thing was actually found by podcasters. Podcasters who were investigating stumbled upon this. And like I said, the FBI was contacted. There is a report made. It happened. I'm so sorry, you guys, but it happened. Now, is it possible if they weren't being absurd, they would just say, okay, yeah, I hear you. But Candace, is it possible that the server just misidentified him? And then I'd say, yeah. Of course, there's always a possibility that people truly believe that they see someone, a la Mitch Snow. When we did the Fort Huachuca thing, we can verify that this person was at the restaurant. We can verify that they called the FBI. We can verify that the owner pulled the receipt. We can verify what the person ate, that there is a receipt and that it was paid for on a debit card. Asking me to go to the Visa merchant is absurd and insane.
Insane. Why does she have to go to the visa merchant? She's not the prosecutor. She's not the investigator. She's doing her own due diligence. Yes, but guess what? I don't think visa merchants are they're just gonna give out random information to podcasters. Just because a podcaster calls, yes, I'm working on the Tyler Robinson case, and my name is Candace Owens, and I'm here on behalf of Charlie Kirk because it was my friend, and I would like to get this information on Tyler Robinson. And Visa gonna be like, do you have a card number? That's my worst Indian accent, but it's always somebody from India. Do you have a card number? Like, he'd be like, bro, I hate calling people now. I hate calling business. It forces you to just do it online. It forces, because you got to talk to somebody in India, and they're like, can you repeat your name? Can spell your name? And it'd be like, bruh. So you spell your name, and they say, your name is ... You'd be like, no, my name is not that. I don't know where you got that from. So I'm gonna call a visa merchant, yes, to get to go through with some American problems. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's how you solve that. Okay. Anyway, I know y'all got the same it's not racist if it's the truth. If you every time you call a damn, I could call Cox Cable and somehow I'm talking to somebody in India. Like, it don't make sense. Like, I hope they paying y'all well, because man, hey, let me tell you, I was trying to get the hotspot on my phone, right? And I was talking to this lady from India. And so my daughter, she has 40 gigabytes of hotspot every month for $5 a month. I don't know how I got it. $5 a month. I have 5 gigabytes of hotspot for free with my phone plan. And I'm like, bro, I want the 40 gigabytes, and she needs the the 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, switch off on what? Well, it's she was, man, the lady was so confused. It was pissing me off. I said, you know what? Forget it. Just forget it, dog. I hate I even called you at this point. I hate I even called you, but whenever I bought my daughter's phone, it had this plan on it, and it was this, I guess it was a special 40 gigabytes for $5. You cannot get that plan, no hotspot, 40 gigabytes of hotspot. You can't get that plan nowhere else. And I don't know how she got it, but when I bought her phone 3 years ago, or maybe more. But yeah, like, come on, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not being racist. I might be a bigot, but I'm not a racist. Y'all accept bigots, but not racists, right?
But it happened. I don't know what else to say to you. Like, okay, we're just going to keep following that. But that receipt is going to become critical, and it could, in fact, prove to be exculpatory. So stay tuned. The next bit of what takes place on this show. So
yeah, that was it. Oh, I just pretty much just interrupted her little ending speech. But yeah, the whole Steakhouse thing is a fraud and a sham, and I think that well, not what Candace Owens is saying. I think you got to let the evidence come out. I think they're so mad about being confronted with the truth, it hurts, and the truth will come out. And I think the FBI being contacted about this is much bigger. Now, if this gets debunked, then I will say to the everyday people, hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't want to spread misinformation, but I'm going to just tell you what. we're going to get all the information that Candace Owens says. I'm not saying she God. All I'm saying is she damn good at what she's doing. Okay? That's just it. And this is getting more intense. So let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section.